What's up guys, Sean Nalawani here, SeanNal.com, BodyTransformationTruth.com, and in this video here I want to outline one very common mistake a lot of guys make when bulking, and something that you should definitely be conscious of if you're currently in a muscle building phase and you're trying to maximize muscle growth. So the mistake is actually really simple, but I see this over and over again, and it's something that I did in the past, and it's something that I can actually still end up falling into if I'm not careful. And the mistake is readjusting your calorie intake at too quick a pace. So if you're in a bulking phase and you're focused on gaining muscle, then obviously you need to be eating in a calorie surplus. And yes, as you gain more and more muscle, your calories have to gradually increase along with it because your body requires additional energy to maintain the existing mass you've built as well as build more muscle on top of it. But what happens really often is that someone will start off with the intention of doing a lean bulking phase and keeping their calorie surplus tightly controlled to keep fat gains at a minimum, which is what I always recommend doing for most people. I think that's the smartest route. But what will happen is that once they get going with their bulking program and they start seeing consistent muscle gains, they'll get really excited, maybe a bit overconfident, and their nutritional discipline will gradually start to loosen up more and more. They'll see those initial gains and then be tempted to speed up the process, and they'll start eating a bit more here, a bit more there, adding in extra foods that they wouldn't have otherwise eaten, and then just telling themselves that it's no big deal because they're bulking and they need the extra calories to keep gaining muscle. And this happens not only because they're trying to keep the gains going, but it also becomes an excuse just to eat more food, period. So maybe they normally wouldn't have ordered that cake and ice cream for dessert, or they would have stopped at 3 pieces of pizza instead of 6. But because they're sort of in that bulking mindset, they just end up going for it anyway. So essentially what starts out as a clean bulk gradually turns into a dirty bulk. And of course the end result is that they end up gaining more body fat than they intended to. Always remember that more calories doesn't automatically mean gaining more muscle. Your body can only gain so much muscle in a given day. And once you go beyond that limit of what can actually be used for muscle growth, all you're really doing is putting on more fat at that point. So if you want to keep fat gains minimized, you have to have the discipline to know what your daily calorie needs are and then to stick to them without aimlessly adding more food on top of it, because all of those extra calories will add up over the course of a few weeks and months. And not only that, but coming back to the original point, only increase your calories when it's actually necessary to do so. A lot of guys will fall into the trap of thinking that they need to constantly be bumping up their calories every single week or every 2 weeks in order to keep gaining weight. But it's important to understand that calorie surplus numbers are never going to be 100% spot on, and your body weight is also going to fluctuate from day to day depending on a whole bunch of different factors. So my advice would be to only increase your calories once you can clearly see that your weight gain has either stalled or significantly slowed down. And then from there you can bump up your intake to keep things moving. But don't increase it until you can objectively see that it's necessary. And at that point you can make a small increase, usually 100 to 150 calories is a good number. And from there you can reassess to see how your body weight responds. But the bottom line is to make sure that you're doing all of this in a slow, gradual way if you want to stay relatively lean throughout your bulking phase. Remember that you're never going to lose body fat while you're in a calorie surplus. And so whatever fat you gain, that's going to be stuck with you for the entirety of your bulking phase, and it's not going to go anywhere until you consciously decide to switch gears and focus on fat loss. And if you do end up putting on an amount of fat that you're unhappy with, it can easily demotivate you and throw your plan off track. And not only that, but the more fat you gain, the more time you're going to have to spend dieting later on in order to get rid of it. So keep your surplus moderate around 200 to 300 calories above your maintenance level. Track your weight gain and only make adjustments when your progress clearly starts to stall. So guys, if you found this advice helpful and you want to get all the tools you need to lose fat and gain muscle as effectively as possible, including step-by-step meal plans, workout supplement guides, and one-on-one coaching, then you can download my Body Transformation Blueprint by clicking here or by heading over to BodyTransformationTruth.com using the link in the description box. Make sure to follow me on social media here if you aren't already. The official website is SeanNal.com, and feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe to stay up to date on future videos. Talk to you guys again soon.